All right. All right. Well, welcome back. For anybody who's come back to this session, the first session we talked about unified communications. In this space with NEC and working with K through 12, we do have a pretty good portfolio for getting back to school, doing online learning, collaboration from different locations. Brian in our last session talked about contact center and being able to send out mass notifications or notifying security detail if there's an emergency, having support lines beefed up during times of a pandemic, things like that. We've also got some frictionless kiosk systems for checking in, and you can use facial recognition, or you can even use QR codes. Doing a lot of stuff for education that, unfortunately is very relevant for these times. And what I want to talk here, we've got a 20-minute little kind of fireside chat here. I'm going to present a couple of slides, but we want to talk about how you guys can procure this stuff via NEC, and really what you'll want to do is use the Equalis group and their contract. So welcome to the session. My name is Jeremy Dunnigan. I'm with NEC. I am responsible as well as John Schroeder and Lainey Gordon, who are on the call for the SLED organization here at NEC. So all of our state, local, and education kind of grouped together. But I've been working really, really closely with Region 10 and a lot of K through 12 the past year or so. And then we have a special guest directly from Equalis, Derek on the line. Derek, I really appreciate you joining here. Hopefully I can do justice to the presentation, but you feel free to jump in there and add some color, or maybe some questions will come your way about this. So thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Will do. Thanks for having me.
Really, really do appreciate it. So I'll start here. The Equalis Group is the name of the company, name of the contract. They're such a stellar organization. I have to be honest, you may or may not have heard of them. I mean, Region 10 folks probably have, but they are actually a national cooperative, right? So you may have heard of some other large ones across the nation. Well, these guys are also up there as well. They're based here in North Texas, and they've got offices in other locations. They've got another big office up in Ohio, but do a lot of work here in North Texas, and they just got some great missions and values, and it's been a really great partnership for NEC to work directly with Equalis. And I'm not going to read all their values, but I think this is just, if you're kind of skimming through here, you'll see that they really are just a stellar organization. They want to work with the partners, they want to work with the customers, they want to work with the vendors like us, and there's really no vendor or partner or customer that's too big or too small. And so really have a great relationship going here.
Jeremy, I think one thing that's worth mentioning here, and it's really a feather in the cap for you folks at NEC, one of the important visions that we have at Equalis, and even though you're right, we are a newer cooperative in terms of the national landscape, but everybody on the team has over 10 years experience individually, specifically with cooperative purchasing. And it's through those experiences that we really wanted to try to build Equalis, to really build back in the value of cooperative contracts, instead of just having a model that gives a supplier a contract, but then everybody else a contract. That dilutes the value of these cooperative contracts so much. And so through our partnerships with our lead agencies, and Region 10 Education Service Center actually being the lead agency on this technology contract, they've got the same vision where they believe in winners and losers, and not just a strategy of trying to find as much spend to go through the contract by awarding as many suppliers. We're not into that model of diluting the compliance, diluting the competitiveness and the value of these contracts. And so the process that NEC went through in winning this contract is something to champion, because it was truly competitive. It wasn't one that's just handed out to everybody. NEC brought their A game in order to win this contract through a truly competitive fashion.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you. And we appreciate it. So Derek, I'm going to talk about the lead agency model here. I mentioned it a little bit in the last session as well. I think Christy asked a question about pricing, but the way that this works is Equalis is the lead contract vehicle for Region 10. So the fact that they are the lead agency or the lead vehicle, it makes it a lot easier to procure the products, if you will. This really gives you, if you're looking at purchasing anything that Equalis offers, namely an NEC technology, you don't necessarily have to go to bid in this situation. They're the lead contract here. So really it gives you a compliant, binding, legally binding way to go procure these products through the contract vehicle, again, without having to go through a lengthy kind of mundane RFP process. So I think that, in this region, we've got a big advantage by being able to use this contract. And hopefully if you're in the last session, you're able to see some of the technologies that are offered there. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the technologies here.
Yeah, I think what's important, and I'm sure many of the folks on the session hopefully are familiar with using cooperatives, but I've always been a champion of being, not just because I work for a cooperative, but just because of the overall process, especially when you're dealing with the multitude of solutions that NEC can provide. We feel instead of an agency doing their own bid, and instead taking advantage of a bid that's already been done for them, it allows them the opportunity to have a valuable discussion with you as a supplier so that you can find the right solution for them instead of them taking a guess at what their specific needs are and then evaluating that on paper. This allows a more constructive dialogue between the supplier and the end user so that the right solution can be implemented at the right level.
Great. Definitely some great benefits for us being a supplier. Derek mentioned that it was a competitive landscape, trying to get in. I'm sure there was other communication companies and security companies trying to be on the contract. So there's a limited suppliers, right? But they like to think they went with the best, right? So he's got a good lineup of suppliers there. There's low fees and flexible pricing and things like that. So we're excited about it. We're happy to be a part of it. They continuously give us support. They're great at, getting on any kind of call Derek and I need to get on together, we'll do. And even when we can, get out in the field. But yeah, it's a great opportunity for suppliers, but I think moreover for you all as a member, the benefits here are good. And again, to continuously, or further answer Christy's question from earlier, the pricing that we offer here, it's heavily discounted. So we came to agreement on highly discounted pricing for you all. And there's also not to exceed pricing for the members. And if you're not a member, any organization that wants to become a member, there's no cost. There's no minimums or anything like that. So it's very easy to become a member and then be able to procure the products at a discounted rate. And then if I, don't want to fail to mention again, just the support. They're very hands-on. The organization is, NEC is very hands-on as well. So you'll have support along the way. But yeah, to become a member, I think it's an easy process, and it gives you access to a lot of great technologies and other services that they provide. I know they're out there doing, distributing PPE and things like that, right? And I'll let you talk about that, Derek, in a second. Let me just talk about the products that we have on there, and then they can see what the full picture looks like. So we talked on the last session about our unified communications in the cloud, and that's called Univerge Blue. And you'll see that down here on the bottom right of the slide. All of those products that Brian presented. And then in our next session, we'll be presenting backup as a service, backup and restore is what it's called, or backup and recover. and that'll be on the contract as well. And that'll be another good presentation for you to see some cost savings and how to protect student data. So all of those cloud products definitely on the contract. The reason why that Equalis and NEC originally started partnering, there was a Safety Security Act in Texas that was very relevant. So that other, I mentioned on the recent, kiosk opportunity or kiosk frictionless check-in system where you can use facial recognition. Those safety and security products, access control things that NEC does, those are all on the contract as well. So you'll see here in the middle, there's another pillar of safety and security products that are offered there. And then, let me go back. And then the other thing I was going to mention that I'm kind of going backwards here. Equalis is a preferred offering. So again, national co-op, a lot of presence here in North Texas, a lot of presence in Ohio, but a presence across the nation. And then Derek, maybe I'll kind of kick it back over to you because I think you wanted to add some color to some of that. And then maybe I think this is a good place for you to talk through just some of the things that you guys.
I mean, this is just a good little outline of how Equalis works and really kind of communicates what our function is in the transaction process. So we've always kind of championed ourselves on being a member-driven, supplier-centric cooperative. And so in a sales leadership role that I'm in, I'm tasking our team with being very hands-on in establishing and fostering relationships with our member agencies. So that would be our school systems, cities, counties, anybody in our membership base, so that we can better understand how they look to do business. Because our ultimate goal for them is to help them meet their procurement goals. At the same time, we also support our suppliers, being very supplier-centric, helping them accomplish their goal of providing their customers with best-in-class products and solutions. And so we want to be able to be of service to both groups, both our suppliers as well as our members, to help validate the procurement process. So we're the experts on the compliant contract, making sure that that's available for you, as well as supporting our suppliers when they may be getting questions from prospects or from customers, because we don't expect them to be experts on the contract. We want them to focus on what they do best, and that's selling their products and solutions. And then we will support both the members and agencies with support for through the contract, the legality of the contracts, as well as helping support suppliers and their sales reps on positioning that contract for them to have success.
Fantastic. And I think I just got one more here that just highlights some of the other work that you guys are doing out there. They're out there again distributing PPE and desks and anything schools might need, right? And we love that because they're out there also being able to kind of work with schools and help them understand if they have any needs in the technology side that NEC can provide and help them out, especially during this pandemic. It's been wild, but yeah, I think you maybe want to mention here some of these efforts that you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're focused on NEC today in this session, but we aren't just a technology cooperative. Our goal is to continue to build our portfolio so that we've got contracts available for any of our member agencies for just about anything they need. So a sampling on the screen right now are some of our contracts we have for office and school supplies, maintenance, repair, and operations products and solutions, copier contract on there. In the past few months, we have also added to our portfolio with things such as HVAC and roofing solutions, as well as furniture. So continue to build out our contract. We've got over 80 different suppliers with competitively awarded contracts now and growing to meet the needs of our members.
Fantastic. Well, I think I'll stop there. This last bit just shows that when you go to either go to the NEC page, there's a landing page for Equalis. When you go to Equalis, there's a landing page for NEC, so you'll be able to access some of this information. But we had a 20 minutes here, and I've got about 5 minutes left, so I did want to leave it open if there were any questions. Let me go ahead and close this down and see if I can see if any came in. Or if you'd like to ask a question via your audio, I mean, everybody's mic is open. If you wanted to unmute, we're happy to answer anything. Okay. Great. We'll be here. This is our virtual booth. The password or the secret word for coming by the booth is blue, which is the name of our Univerge Blue cloud services. So make sure you tell them the name or the password that you came by the booth. And you know, this is our virtual booth that'll be open the rest of the day as well. And we have another session, the second session. We are a gold sponsor, so we're going to be presenting about the backup and restore products that I briefly mentioned there. There's a lot of cost savings, a lot of ability to protect the student data. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys there. It looks like John did want to ask a question. So John, you want us to elaborate on, and Derek, maybe this is better for you. What's the process if we want to use Equalis?
Sure. So obviously, when you identify, you know, the solutions that you'd like to procure from NEC, it's always great to at least acknowledge the method of procurement that you're looking to utilize. When Equalis is going to be that contract, simply notify whoever you're working with at NEC that you would like to utilize the Equalis group contract for this procurement. You know, a lot of times you might need to check with your procurement department on an Equalis member ID number. That is something that we do share with our suppliers, NEC in this case. So a lot of times they might be able to help provide that for you on either a statement of work or a purchase order that they submit to you along with the contract number. But what we want to ensure is that you're covered compliantly, and notify NEC that you want to use the contract. Ensure that either on an invoice, a PO, or a contract, statement of work, whatever you might be executing with NEC, that it's noted on there that it's your intent to use the Equalis group contract. NEC, as they quote that project, will make sure that it's compliant with the pricing of the contract, and then they will end up reporting that to us. There is not a secondary step for you as the end user or your organization to have to submit purchase orders directly to Equalis. We partner with our supplier partners to take care of that for you and then report that back to Region 10. So do business like you normally would with your supplier. Just notify them of your intent to want to use the Equalis group contract, and we can take it from there. Obviously, if there's ever a question of membership, you know, that would be a time for either NEC or the user agency to go through our registration process, which is on our website, or you can contact me. That contact information is on our website as well. But there's a very easy registration link on our website that you can go through, or simply check with your procurement department to see the membership status.
Fantastic. Well, it looks like we came up to the 20-minute mark. So thank you again, everybody, for joining this session. Happy to answer further any questions or talk more about how the contract works. Just know that it's there for you, and it's a very, you know, streamlined way for you to get these technologies and other services offered by Equalis, specifically for Region 10. I mean, they're the lead vehicle for you all. So looking forward to working with everybody, and come back to our next session if you can. And Jennifer, if you wanted to stop the recording, you